Look at us both getting haircut. I love it.
Yeah, I don't look like Dora.
No, I love the waves too.
I did that. I got like a new wand and
Curled your own hair. Do I sound okay?
yeah, a little bit.
What about now?
Yeah.
I'm always afraid I'm gonna sound crappy.
There's some static, but I don't think that's you.
I hope that doesn't get in the way of things. But I don't think you look like a Dora. I also don't want you to cut yourself.
Oh my god.
I didn't either until now.
Maybe it was or it's just in my Yep.
Got my toast and my little guy. Oh, you're just so soft.
I was watching, or I was at work and I was listening to the podcast Soapbox Books.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a new podcast. It's out. It's great.
It is wonderful.
Anyways, I was at work and I tried to listen to. Do you want to just start this?
We can. Absolutely.
It goes into our off-topic topic, except for we have visitors that aren't supposed to be here. Don't judge me.
She's feeling herself. She's feeling herself. I love a good feel for yourself. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm all for it. I live for it.
Your haircuts always look good. I don't even have my.
You don't even have your headphones
Well,
on.
I assumed Mackenzie's coming down here.
No, she's not coming down here. She'll be going down to turn on the TV for Georgia.
Oh.
Because she's a little monster. Hey guys, welcome back to the Gen D podcast. We're your hosts,
Tyler and Alyssa.
Yeah, this is our
off-topic topic where we talk about things off topic.
Yes.
And what was I talking about? Her outfit is so cute though, Mackenzie's. Anyways, I was listening.
Yes.
I was at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have audiobooks, but anybody with audiobooks, it's low-key a scam, right? Like I'm new to audiobooks, but it feels like a scam because you have to pay for the membership, but then you also have to pay for the books on top of it.
I don't know.
And
I've
then-
never done it before.
And then you like gain credits, which I guess eventually pays for a book, I assume over time, but I'm not spending $20 every time I want to read an audiobook. I can read that shit for free on Kindle.
I do not like audiobooks.
I don't either, but I kind of want to listen to a book like while I work because I can't just sit and read while I'm working.
Yeah.
And this is like my night job, so like I'm busy. I can't,
Yeah.
So I found an audiobook and it was like $11 and I was like, okay, fine. I'll buy it, right? I did it, and what I didn't realize until I started playing it was that it's the Spanish version.
Oh.
And I don't know if any of you know this, but I can't speak Spanish. So I was like, what the fuck? And turns out, yeah, it has an English version and a Spanish version. And I bought the Spanish version. It wouldn't let me like refund it or anything.
Do you find a number to call?
No, but I'm also not going to do that. So
why?
Because it was like 11 o'clock at night. I was trying to just do this quickly before I started working, and I wasn't about to do all that. So it's fine. And so I was like, you know what? Okay, cool.
When did you buy it? Sorry.
What do you mean when? Like, I think it was like last week.
Maybe you should call and be like, oh, I was meaning to get to this, but I can't speak Spanish. And so did it read correctly?
It was in Spanish.
No, like, did it say it was Spanish?
Once I looked at the description and realized it was Spanish, yeah.
But you have to look at the description.
Yeah.
The book itself doesn't indicate that it's in Spanish.
No, the title was in English. No. And I'm new to audiobooks, so I kind of seems like a manual error, like I didn't even think about it possibly being in a different language.
$11 is $11, girl. It's a coffee.
True. And I don't know, but here's my point, okay? This isn't even what this is about. So because of that, I'm fucked. What am I going to listen to? And I promise you, this isn't a plug, okay? But it kind of is. So I was like, you know what? So really, really quickly, when I edit Soapbox Books, which is our other podcast, it's our sister podcast where we basically like read my books over the course of a season. So when I'm editing it, I'm at work. So I can't listen to it because I'm doing it on the computer at work, and I can't just plug headphones into the computer at work. It doesn't work that way. So I don't get to listen to it when I'm editing it. I just read the transcript and edit it that way, and then if I'm lucky, I can hear it later. And so I was I was like, you know what? Let me put on Soapbox Books. I haven't heard it yet. I've only been transcribing it.
You're like me with
with
all
the Gen D
this,
podcast.
yeah,
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
Gen D.
And I was like, this will be great. This will be good for me. And so I'm listening to it. And I'm vibing. I'm having a great time. I'm listening to. So there was only 2 episodes to start, right?
Mhm.
Out, on platforms. So I'm listening to it and I'm like, this is great. I love this. And I'm having a good time. And I'm like, then what happened? Like, I don't know what happens. And your reactions are cracking me up. And I don't know. I was having a really good time and I'm feeling myself. I'm sitting there laughing, giggling to myself while I'm working. And people are probably around me like, what the fuck is she laughing? What is
That's a
there
good
to laugh
plug
about?
for the podcast.
Yeah,
though.
she like, what is there to laugh about at 2:00 in the morning?
Right.
Ain't nothing funny. But it was cracking me up. And then I got through the 2 episodes that were on, Apple Podcasts, if you need to find it. And I got through them and I was like, I need more. I can't be doing all this. I actually need more because this is so fucking entertaining for me. And so I download Riverside
Yeah.
on my phone, which
Mhm.
is an app that we edit and we record through. So I downloaded that on my phone because I remembered that because I was still in the process of editing episode 3. It was like an hour and a half long. That's why it was taking me forever. Not the point. So and also I've been crazy busy. But so I downloaded Riverside and I remembered that episode 3 is all together and a little over half is edited. Like most of it is edited,
Yeah.
right? And so I can deal with this. I will listen to it on Riverside. I'll realize the point that I need to edit because I'll realize, what's not edited
Yeah.
after a certain point, and then it'll be great because I'll listen to it and then I can go back and edit it, and you know what I mean? Like I was like, this will be great for me. And it was. And I was listening to it and I was like, banger, banger, banger. I was like, this is so good. And then it ends. And then it ends. And I was like, no. And so I go to episode 4 and 5 or whatever else. None of them are clipped together. They're all just a bunch of different episodes like that I have to combine, right? Especially since we leave off at different times. It's a whole thing. And so I was like, fuck it. I don't even care. I'll listen to 30 minutes and then skip to the next one, listen to 30 minutes, and I'll just do it this way for the rest of the night. It'll be great. But I can't. But I couldn't do it because they needed to be restored. They needed to be restored.
So this poor girl has been having a lot of issues with our episodes for some reason for Soapbox because we have to restore the audio and the video to then edit, which is why it's taking so long for them to get out.
And it takes like 12 to 24 hours to restore. And fuck, because I was on a streak, man.
Right.
This is good. Right. So I was restoring it. So let me just go ahead and click restore, and then like I could go ahead and edit everything that I need to this weekend while I'm at work. So I'm restoring it, right? And then I get to work and I finish editing. Let me start over. I got off work at my one job, and then later that day went to my second job. So I was at work again at a different job, and where I have my computer and I can edit. But here's the thing, because I stayed up half the night working and listening to it, and I was geeking ha-haing to myself, and I was sad when it was over, I'm gonna fucking knock the rest of this episode. I'm getting episode 3 out stat.
She's getting it out.
I was like, I don't care if I'm busy. I don't give a fuck. I get to work and the whole day I'm editing. I'm finishing this episode up. It's a wrap, like I'm working on it, and I upload it and I'm so happy about it. And then I go, because I'm like, great, by now the rest of the episode 4 should be restored, right? Yeah. Theoretically. And so I go back and I check, it's still restoring. Oh my God. And then all weekend, it's still restoring. I'm like, this is driving me crazy. But I realized that just because it says it's restoring doesn't mean it isn't restored. So this weekend, I will be editing episode 4 to get that out stat.
Yay!
Because I really, really, really want to listen to it.
So I do think it's kind of fascinating, especially when we're reading or when we're in the middle of doing all this, the editing, the process. We're not specifically listening.
Right.
We're editing to get out the ums and the likes and
It's
things
tedious.
everything that doesn't make any sense to have
Mhm.
into the podcast. So sometimes we forget what we said during the episode. So it is kind of nice to be able to go back and watch the
And you
episode
crack
unedited.
me up. You crack me up so much. Your reactions, because and this is awful. Trigger warning, okay? Domestic violence. So skip like 30 seconds to a minute ahead.
Yes.
But there was this one part that I heard where Olivia was like defending herself, and she was standing up for herself against Dean, who is the villain, by the way. And you were like, "Good for her. That's awesome. Good for her." And then I said, "Not good for her because he hits her." And it's not funny.
No.
But the reaction and like the way that I responded cracked me up. Like, I don't know what it was about it, but because you were so excited, you were like, "Yeah, Olivia's gonna get her lick back." Then I immediately was like, no. Unfortunately, she doesn't.
I'm gonna have to watch. I want to watch like where all like at least 5 episodes are out. That's what I'm waiting for.
I'm trying to get them out as soon as I can, at least once a week, because I was on a streak for a while where episode 3 was just taking me a long time.
But we've worked so much.
We went to the festival, like that was an all day event. Yeah. I mean, and it is tedious. It's a tedious thing to sit there and do all day, but it was interesting too.
Yeah, and welcome to our new followers. Yes, hi everybody. Yeah, that followed and is now joined in. But this is our off-topic where we talk about things off topic, and then we get to our main topic. But did I tell you that Leo almost got his school shut down?
No.
No?
That sounds like something Leo would do.
Yeah. So a friend of his who is homeschooled, and I started a new job. We needed somebody to come over to get the girls on the bus so I could leave to go to work. And I travel around different places. I never know what I'm going to do until the next day. Sometimes during the night, it just depends. A friend of ours, we were like, "Hey, are you doing anything? Are you busy? Can you come over and get the girls on the bus?" And she agreed, but she had her child with her, and it was one of Leo's friends. Because he can't get on the school bus with Leo, he had to make a phone call with Leo while he was on the bus on the way to school. We don't know the whole story because Leo's not exactly saying the whole story. So we only got the gist of the story. And I just started a new job. So when I got the phone call, I was on my way to work. Chris goes, "I have something I have to tell you. Let me call you back." Okay, you can't leave me on a cliffhanger.
Right, like...
What the fuck happened? Chris calls me back and he said that Leo is in the office sitting by himself and cops are on our way to our house. Yeah, they're on the way to the house. So I'm like, okay, what's happening? So Leo and his friend were on the phone with each other. And Leo kept saying, "You can't come to school with me. You're going to get our school locked down and take off your backpack." The bus driver heard that conversation and reported it. The cops. So our friend is up at the bus stop with the girls as the cops are physically on their way to our house. If our friend wasn't waiting at the house, our house could have been swatted. So they get to our house. Our friend is sitting out in the parking lot, and poor this girl, her and her child are in pajamas. They were just supposed to come over and get the girls on the bus. That's all they were supposed to do. So the cops get to the house and they search his backpack, searched her car. And she said they were not in the mood to play at all because she was trying to make light of the situation. And they're like, "This isn't funny. This is not funny."
It's a little funny.
Do you want to hear the worst?
It's not. It's not. You're going to have to cut that out.
No, I think it is funny. A little funny.
What's funny is that he wasn't, like, there was no intentions of anything bad.
Yeah.
But kids sometimes don't realize what they're saying in, like, the real world.
We explained that to Leo. We went to Mexican, and there was a little crackle thing, and Leo said, "Shots fired, shots fired." And we were like, this is what we're talking about. This is why
video games are ruining our children.
Careful. Someone wants to get rid of video games.
Really quick, you have like a long piece of hair at the very top. It's like a dog hair, though.
Oh.
You just gotta you're good.
Okay.
It was sticking straight out, really bothering me.
flying in the wind. But we were like, that's what we're talking about. Like, you can't be shouting this stuff out because you're going to cause a panic. But do you want to know the worst part? And I'm very disappointed in our school system. Because they made it such a big deal that they had the cops sent to our house, but they didn't close the school down.
Wow.
They left it open.
But also, like, that kid didn't go on the bus with a backpack or anything. It was just Leo telling him not to.
That's the thing. Like, he explained the story. He said the story. But of course, they had to their due diligence. But my thing is, like, you were doing your due diligence, but you didn't close the school down.
Right. You don't know which kid he's talking to.
Yeah.
Could have been someone on a different bus.
Yeah, it could have been a kid on a different bus. It could have been, like, so...
You probably should have closed the school down.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I'm like, you made that big of a deal.
To us.
You literally sent the cops to our house to inspect this kid's backpack and her car.
No, that's crazy. That's unfortunate.
And still didn't close the school down. All because Leo made a comment. I didn't know if I told you or not.
I don't want to say it's funny, but it's interesting. That's for sure. It's entertaining at the very least because sometimes kids really don't realize what they're saying.
Yeah, that can cause a mass panic.
Right. But at the same time, I can understand why the bus driver was like, let me report this.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying.
Just to be safe.
I'm just saying that where I'm disappointed is that you made it a big deal, but still didn't close the school down.
Right. Like, you don't know whose kid, who
it was.
Yeah.
It could have been somebody, he could have been lying this whole time.
That's crazy.
Which I would not put past my kid.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. Oh my God. Speaking of kids, I got punched by Georgia.
On purpose?
Yeah.
Wow.
I bought her candy because she was really good for me at the DMV. I bought her some candy. I bought her a shitload of candy. Chris ate some of her candy. Well, Chris told her that I ate the candy. She at first thought it was Leo.
Yeah.
And she was like, check the cameras.
Okay, so Georgia punched you.
So Georgia punched me. So Chris told her it was me, and I straight up, no kidding, stars. Like, she drawed back and swung, and I mean, it made contact. I felt myself go, crap.
Wow.
Like, fuck, man, that shit hurt so bad.
From a 6-year-old.
From a 6-year-old. I was like, man, this girl's got some strength. She's gonna be kicking ass. She straight up. Leo's hit me before. Mackenzie's hit me before. I've never saw stars with that. Georgia hits me. I said, oh, am I in outer space? Like, what's happening?
Look at all the pretty colors, man. You're suddenly not colorblind.
And then Chris was like, it was me that ate it. He admitted it. And what did Georgia do?
Not punch him.
Hugged him.
Wow.
And said it was okay and that she loved him.
Wow.
As I laid there like, oh.
That girl needs an exorcism.
Yeah.
She got it all out on you.
She let it out. She let it out. I'm like, why is it that I get the little shitheads and he gets, I say it every single time, and he gets the good ones?
Because he worked. Like, well, you do too. Fuck.
I work now.
I was thinking like stay-at-home dad always gets the brunt.
And that might be why I get the brunt, because I was the stay-at-home dad forever.
Okay, so we're gonna
stupid.
go into our intro and then we'll be back with our main topic. And we're back.
And we're back.
So today's topic is monsters.
I don't know very much about this topic.
So that's why I wanted to talk about it, because there are so many like different kinds of monsters.
And what is classified as a monster?
Yeah, because you have like monsters and creatures, and like what's the difference between a monster and a creature?
What is the difference between an alien and a monster? You know that movie, Aliens versus Monsters?
Yes, love that movie. Aliens come from outer space.
Is that the only difference?
I think so.
Because, like, aliens in some movies look like monsters.
Aliens are, like, by definition, inhabitants of another planet.
Okay.
Monsters are not.
Okay, so they're... So...
Unless you have, like, alien monsters.
Yeah.
Which are monsters from...
that planet.
Yeah.
But what makes a monster? So is a werewolf a monster? is a vampire a monster? Because they've been classified underneath them.
I think a werewolf low-key would be classified as a monster.
Okay.
And then you have like Bigfoot, who's probably a monster. And then the Loch Ness monster,
which is a monster.
which is for sure a monster. I think it's just like some kind of animal variant creature.
Mm. Which, by the way, got debunked, the Loch Ness monster. Apparently it was like a stick or something that was like bobbing out of the water.
A stick. They have like these like, okay, I have submechanophobia. And if you don't know what that is,
She's afraid of the water.
Well, that's theslophobia, and you would be correct. I also have that. Theslophobia is fear of the ocean. Facts. Terrified. Why do people go in it? But what did I say? Submechanophobia.
Yeah.
So mechanophobia means fear of big things. So like big ass statues or like Godzilla, right? Like terrifying. That's creepy.
It is very.
But submechanophobia is big things underwater. It's like the best of both worlds. And so there are a lot like big things underwater, like the what's the boat called? Queen Mary. Queen Mary. Have you ever seen its propeller underwater?
Mm-mm.
If you go to the Queen Mary Museum, don't know where that is. No clue where that
Don't
is.
know.
But if you go there, then you can literally see the propeller underwater, and it's huge.
Yeah.
And then you see pictures of people like going up to the propeller, and their size compared to the propeller blade alone, like one propeller blade. Oh my God, shoot me in the face. That is so scary.
But this is only in the museum.
Yeah.
But it's not underwater.
Well, the propeller is, yeah.
But it's moving?
No.
Oh.
You can just see it. And
so
that's
the
enough.
fact that it's underwater.
If it was moving, scarier for sure. But like the boat's not turned on.
Okay.
You know, it's an old boat. I don't know if she turns on anymore.
So the fact that it's underwater
giant, yeah.
Is this boat propeller in the museum, or is it on the boat itself?
Okay, so I think you would have to fact check me, but I think the boat itself is there, just sitting on water.
Oh.
And you can see the propeller.
Oh.
And it's really creepy.
Yeah.
And giant. And also just sorry, I'm cringing. Because I'm picturing it and it's really freaking me out. So my theory, not that it's like a real theory, because obviously I think we would have found it if it was, but the Loch Ness Monster is probably like one of those like machines that you put on, like submechanophobia, where you put like big things underwater. It's probably like a big ass, monster underwater that's like animatronics or whatever.
Maybe.
Speaking of, they do that a lot.
I do not like animatronic water. I'd be afraid to get in the water.
And they're huge, and people like go up to them and swim around them, and I'm sorry, this is not about monsters at all. This is about animatronics and shit. But people go up to them and touch them, and they're so small compared to the big robot under the water, and it's really freaky. And there's some faces underwater too, and giant big ass statue faces, and y'all are freaking me out. Like, you gotta stop.
Those are monsters. I'm always afraid that they're gonna come to life.
Yeah, I think they're monsters too. Yes. That's my, and you want to know something? I actually thought about this because of my fear. I thought it would be cool to write a horror story where all of the like submechanic animatronics or like whatever or big statues that are underwater came to life and started like wreaking havoc on different parts of the world that they're in.
That would be
crazy. I don't know how
I
would do that.
Even start it,
but it would be
It'd be kind of like a crazy movie though too to even think about. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That would be.
I think that would be really cool. Don't know how to pull it off, but I think it would be really cool.
Give her the credit for it.
TM.
Yeah. This can be kind of a mythical topic, I guess, in general. So, okay.
Mythics and monsters.
Yeah, mythics and monsters. Do you ever think that we are in another dimension, right? Or there's another time of a dimension where these were once true? Because these stories had to have started somewhere that made people go, this is real, right?
So, yes, and here's why. In the Chinese culture, we have dragons, right? Mm-hmm. Dragons have been a part of that culture since the beginning of whatever, I don't know, for a long time. They're like depicted in really old artifacts and stuff like they're in all the stories, and that makes me think that there was probably once a time where dragons did exist, then they probably became extinct.
something
die down.
something had to have, like, okay, so because you guys can believe in the Bible, like people can believe in the Bible, they can believe that this all being God who has magical powers, but you're not supposed to they're supposed to be miracle existed.
Mhm.
Why couldn't have dragons and like unicorns and
Unicorns are
monsters?
interesting. Unicorns are technically a creature, which is where we get into the differences between monsters and creatures. Because I think a creature is more of a neutral to good versus
So like a
monster,
fairy.
which is versus monsters, which is like a bad and chaotic.
Okay.
So like think of it in D&D terms.
But like fairies are
Fairies-
predicted as chaotic too.
They chaotic good though. It depends because there are different like depictions of fairies. So like some fairies are like Tinkerbell and they're good for society and they do things and they have a purpose. Other fairies are evil.
Yeah.
They're evil fairies. Some steal your stuff.
Mhm.
Some will just come in and like steal shit, like your car keys, and that's why you always lose your car keys.
Yeah. So trolls, those are creatures.
But I think those are creatures.
Unicorns, creatures.
I think with creatures it can go either way.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
but
like, they could be
monsters can be
tricky.
good too. What if the Loch
Eh.
Ness monster's good? What if Bigfoot's good? What is that? What is the deal with people wanting to go find Bigfoot?
Leave
if
him
he really
alone.
does exist, clearly he does not want to be found.
Leave
he
him
wants to be
alone.
left alone
He's
in
just
his little hut.
in his big hut with his big feet.
Yeah.
You know, he's just like, everyone only cares about my feet. They don't care about my personality.
So then, okay, a monster would be like the boogeyman.
So I was thinking that too. So the boogeyman or a monster in your closet or something under your bed. Yeah, that's also a monster. But it's more of an entity than it is a monster because I think it's only a monster to children. And then you get older and you realize it's really an entity.
A demon.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. I could get on a large tangent.
But then, like Godzilla, is that a monster?
Well, yeah.
It's a big animalistic creature. That's also a monster.
That's also a monster. Okay, so we're gonna classify unicorns, mermaids.
It depends because you have the evil version of mermaids, which are the most logical,
which are
sirens, right?
Yeah.
And then here's the thing: I think mermaids are all probably evil.
Are they evil or do they just hate people?
Well, they probably hate people, and then you get a lot of sailors and stuff.
Because
And
are any of these things evil? Because they're probably
Probably
you fucked up my environment.
right, it's like swimming in the middle of the ocean and not expecting a shark to attack. It's not the shark's fault that you were swimming in the middle of the ocean. So I
Yeah.
feel like if you're lost at sea or whatever, and a siren comes up to you and sings your little song and kills you and eats you alive, that might be on you.
You were on her territory.
Like, yeah, like it's like going into a lion's den.
Yeah.
What do you expect is going to happen from a lion? But we don't
Right.
classify lions as monsters. We
No.
classify them as animals who have predatory characteristics.
Yeah. We are land creatures.
Yeah, and we are creatures.
Yeah. So we dwell on the land.
I love the word dwell.
And it is funny that, and I may be going in a weird place, but we do have woodland creatures where we've taken over their land. We were probably once woodland creatures. So we just kind of developed differently
Probably.
than what the animals, because we are animals.
We are.
We're a classification of animals because we are mammals.
Yeah. But the only distinction is that we have a conscience.
Yeah. But I actually believe animals have conscience.
I think that
Just
they
because-
do. They just don't have like they don't have a specific right or wrong. Like they don't have the thought process. You know, like we have a thought process where we have like a little voice in our head that's like, do this, don't do that.
Yeah.
And they don't have that distinct difference. Like
It's kind of like a kid on ADHD where they're like, oh, I'm going to react just because.
it's instinct.
Yeah.
It's all instinct for them. They're not taught how to have sex.
They just know.
They just do it.
That's a really interesting way to look at things.
Yeah.
I think life is fascinating sometimes. Sometimes. Only sometimes.
Only a little bit.
Just a little bit. I do believe that there used to be a dimension where magic used to exist, where creatures used to exist. That's why we get the hint of demons and other things that kind of come through into this dimension. I believe in other dimensions.
I don't know. So here's the thing about dimensions. Are we in a different timeline or are we in a different dimension?
Aren't they classified as the same thing?
I don't think
Emily?
so. Like different dimensions are, for example, we are going in a straight line, right?
Mhm.
Different dimensions are parallel outside of that line and it just keeps going and going and going based on the differences, right?
Okay.
So there's slight differences the smaller you get in and bigger differences the more far out you go. But they're parallel to each other, just like on the out, you know?
Okay.
And then timelines. So let's say somebody goes back in time and
Mhm.
changes something and it has a ripple effect.
Which the Mandela effect.
Right. By the time you come back to this timeline, it's different. It's a different timeline. It splits off and now we're on this track.
But could they be the same?
I don't think so.
I actually think that timelines make dimension.
I think it could. I think that could be the ripple effect.
Yeah, because I believe that some people go to different timelines in the different dimensions based on certain periods.
But I think, go ahead.
It's just fascinating because this is where life to me is very interesting. Because when I look at things in life, there is a time period that we've never visited, right?
Yeah.
So 1800s.
Yeah.
We weren't alive then.
Mm-hmm.
Those people no longer exist now.
Right.
Are they still existing?
See, I think so. And the reason I think so, and I think I've talked about it before on here, but time isn't linear. Right now, it's 2025 and we're going through all the things in the world that we're going through. But at this exact same time, the same can be said for it being 1865.
Yeah.
So right now it is 1865, but to us,
it's 2025.
It's 2025.
It's just the modern date of time. That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Because we live in a time period where technology is so vast, and there's movies that
because there are theories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That point out there was one of the books that I was reading actually pointed out time here in this time area, like where motorcycles were a thing, these things were a thing, and then it became kind of a magical fantasy kind of land that they were living in it seemed like it was living in a simulation.
Yeah.
Because they developed skills over time. We are now in a time period where technology is so vast that everybody around us is using it. I think eventually it's going to run out.
Time?
Not time. I don't think time to me is a very weird concept because I honestly don't think time exists the way that we think time exists.
Well, because
I think it exists in various ways.
Well, it does, because to us, we live time linear. We live time one moment after another. But in the real universe, time, first of all, time for us is a made up construct.
Yeah.
But we also live it linear because we age linear.
Yeah.
But once we're done experiencing it, time doesn't stop.
No.
It still goes on forever. And also, like I said, it's up and down and, all the way around. Like it does, it's all existing and all encompassing.
Do you think we'll come back to a point where, okay, so say you believe in reincarnation, or you believe where, reincarnation would essentially be what it is that I'm talking about, where you don't remember your past life, but do you think there will come a point in time where you remember the past life and that you'll get to experience that life or experience that knowledge of it?
Not necessarily.
Because
I don't think it's guaranteed.
Because I don't believe death the way that everybody believes death.
Yeah.
I don't believe death is the end all.
But I also don't believe that death has any social order. I think it has a cosmic order. So by that, I don't mean that like someone's going to greet you on the other side and tell you about your past lives and show you everything you need to know, and there's going to be some kind of corporate
you're going to hell,
yeah,
you're going to heaven.
Like
I don't believe in heaven and hell.
I don't believe that either. I think that it's a cosmic one. So you die and then you're by yourself is what I'm saying.
Do you think there's a concept that you're a god?
That I'm a god?
Yeah. I was talking to Chris about this one day. I know it's going to be very controversial. It's just because my brain
cool,
is now
but I don't think
working.
So.
Everybody has main character syndrome, right? Everybody's a main character.
But everyone also has imposter syndrome.
Right. But I also believe that, I'm a side character in your main story.
Yeah.
But to me, you're my side character.
Yeah. How can you say that the world doesn't revolve around me? It's literally my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. So there's also a theory that are the only person you know exists, because you're you and you can say, I'm here, I exist.
Hmm.
But I can't say that you're not a figment of my imagination.
Just like I can't say that you're not.
I can't tell
Which
if you're a
is so
PC or not.
fucking
Like,
wild.
yeah. Like, I can't prove that for a
Right.
fact.
Right.
Because this could all just be in my head.
Right. It could be.
It could be.
Very much could be.
And then there's the theory of how when you die, you release a bunch of fucking dopamine and serotonin and shit in your head, right? To the point where you could time will slow down and you could live a whole other life in 5 minutes in reality and years in your head. So that could be your version of heaven or whatever people are seeing when they die and come back to life. That could be their head, making things easy on them.
Which my brother, he told me a story because he died on the table of where he felt like he was looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a dream, and he remembers it specifically, where he was running around looking for a bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, where he found the bed that he thought he was supposed to lay in, there was my uncle and my papa that was standing there, and they said, "It's not your time yet. You gotta go back." And then he woke up.
So I think that that's a really nice, interesting theory, is you get to see your, family members on the other side. It kind of...
I think you get to see your family members in different various ways.
Yeah, but it also kind of depends, because where was I going with this? I had a very specific thought. It was so good. So I think that... What were we talking about?
We were talking about my brother's death story.
Yeah,
and then we were talking about time and concepts in our head for the past 5 minutes that we can live a whole lifetime.
Okay. So my point is that could be the case. He could have actually seen your family member on the other side, right? The thing is that your brain knows that they're dead. Your brain knows that,
But you don't.
But you know that they're dead. So in that moment, they're the ones who are greeting you, because your brain is like making them up, because your brain knows that they're dead. For example, if I were to die on the table, whatever, I could see my sister, but I know she would be on the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would want her to be, I would picture her, or I would want her, And so maybe my brain takes that and gives you some kind of peace.
Yeah.
There's no way to really know.
Right.
Like, you have the Christians or just anybody who believes in God, right? Yeah. I just say Christian. It's just a blanket statement, or a blanket term. You have people who believe in God, right? And then they die and they come back to life and they talk about how they saw angels and heaven and this and that. And okay, that makes sense. But is it because you believe in God and that's what you wanted to see and that's what your brain tricks you into seeing?
Mm-hmm.
To make your death a little bit more bearable and a little bit easier? That's the hard part, is you just don't know.
Right.
And that's why everybody has different near-death experiences.
Which is kind of one of those things that, like, I think about too. What if, that little thing that people say that when my uncle, when he passed away, he went into a coma for a little while, and then he woke up from the coma, and then he was having conversations with everybody. He was up and talking. And then when I went and left the hospital after having a conversation with him, he passed away.
Well, that's an actual thing that happens when you die, is you get this sudden burst of energy and people think they're better, everything's okay, and then they die right after that. It's actually one of the signs of death.
Yeah.
Is that sudden burst of energy, and then you get like death rattle.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to come up with a theory.
Mm-hmm.
What if, when you die, that you greet the life that you had in this part in time as you're moving on to another part?
This O'Reilly. Sorry. So this is what I was gonna talk about earlier when I forgot. It kind of negates the theory of reincarnation if you see your family members on the other side, because those aren't your family members if they've been reincarnated. Mm-hmm. So it's a double negative.
Well, it could be a different part of them. So say they're living in a different life, right? Mm-hmm. Say my uncle died, but he's in a different dimension or a different point in time.
The thing is that you only have one conscience. You can't just split your conscience up into different beings. One stays on the ethereal realm or plane or whatever, and one gets reincarnated. I don't think it works that way, or else we'd be way more in tune with our spiritual selves.
Maybe that's why we're not in tune.
Because we're split?
Because we're split.
Cosmically, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, but also, I just don't like the concept of me dying and that's it. I don't like that.
Nobody does, but that's what makes life worth living. Whatever the fuck we're doing.
Whatever we're doing in this world.
It gives our short life purpose.
Now, I don't want to believe that that's it. I don't believe in heaven and hell. I believe that when like I said, when he said that story, maybe he wasn't leaving this plane. Maybe he wasn't leaving this place, and those are the familiars. Maybe there's a cosmic part where there is a familiar being where you have to see these people, because if I were to show you who we really are, your brain won't.
So you're saying that it's not your family members on the other side. It's someone dressed up as your family members?
That's my theory of coming along.
Creepy.
Listen, because watching Sandman really got me thinking about a lot of things, okay? Because in Sandman, spoiler alert, there is a scene where she grants him eternal life. Beth grants this guy eternal life. That she can't grant life, but she can grant eternal life because she doesn't have to kill him. Like, she doesn't have to come and get him.
Right.
So essentially what I'm saying is that what if there's beings that didn't decide to come back to a different dimension? What if they're up in this realm of places, cosmic energy or whatever, and our human brains, because it isn't time for us to go to a different place or plane at that moment in time, that we are supposed to stay here on this specific plane of existence, that our brains wouldn't be able to grasp the concept of what these beings would look like. So they go with a familiar being that we've known in our lifetime.
But then who are these beings? What are they there to do?
Maybe it's us. Maybe it's us that haven't come back yet. Maybe it's us in our spiritual form, because we don't know what we look like spiritually, right?
I mean, that's true, but
I could sit here and say this is what I look like all damn day, but I don't really know what I look like.
I think it does make sense that you would shed your physical body, obviously, and then a spirit version of you would move through or up or wherever the fuck you're going. But I think that, I don't know, because we could be just weird shape figures of light, you know? And
we could
but
be.
I think that you could go to the other side and you could see a family member or somebody that you loved in this life who has passed on, and you could see them in their form of light or whatever we look like spiritually, right? But we would recognize who it is based off of our souls alone.
Hey, I don't know. It's a weird theory.
The issue is that there's so many theories.
There's so many theories.
And we don't know for sure which one it is.
To be honest with you, the one thing that I'm going to, and it makes me feel better at the night, that there is more to life than just this. Because honestly, what a lame ass life.
Well, I agree.
With all these shit that goes on in this world.
Well, I agree, but what if this is all there is? What if this is it?
Then it's lame as fuck.
Well, I agree.
I want to redo.
But I think that there's a slight possibility, and we have to accept the fact that there's a slight possibility that this is all for nothing, that purpose does not exist, that it's a construct, just like time, that we came up with to make us feel better about things. I think it's very possible that there's nothing
what if we
outside of this.
What if we're sleeping and we're dead? We don't know what's going on in the outside world.
Right. So if we die and we're in that time frame of
sleep,
because that could last years to us in our heads, where it's only 5 minutes or 2 minutes in reality.
Yeah.
But
it's just one of those things that I'm just saying, like, there's so many theories on that stuff in general.
Yeah.
That, like, and I know we got onto a whole different on a tangent of
Yeah.
death, but magic, existence, because there was a theory that I heard that we are the gods, like we're the ones that are in control over our own fate. So we decide ultimately what happens to us in the end of everything.
I don't agree, because you have what I like to call the domino effect, where everybody else in this world is making decisions that end up rippling and impacting you.
Right.
You can't change, you can't okay, so like let's say you're at a light, right? You're the first
Mhm.
person at a light and it's red.
Mhm.
You got somebody all the way back here who hits the car in front of them, who then hits the car in front of them, who then hits the car in front of them, all the way up until the person behind you ends up hitting you. You didn't do anything. You were sitting at the light. Other people's decisions affect us,
Right.
whether they realize it or not.
Right.
So, and that can force us to make different decisions and to do different things. And so I'm not convinced that we are really in control of everything.
Which we might not be, which really kind of sucks because then that negates free will.
I was thinking that too. I was literally that was my next point, which was free will doesn't really exist if you're at the expense of others.
Because technically, even in our society, we're at the stake of others.
Yeah.
I can't go out and murder somebody.
Yeah.
I'd go to prison. I'm at the stake of that.
Mm-hmm.
Those people didn't ask to get murdered either.
Yeah.
What gives us the right to take their life?
Yeah, exactly. And and then even our own choices. So for example, you chose to adopt 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Where would they be if you had made the choice to not adopt?
Right.
Where would they be and where would you be? How would your life be different?
Right. Which, we did have a choice in the matter. Like, we got that option.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what if you had chosen not to? What if you never even wanted kids? What if, because you at one point in time you didn't want children, and then you changed your mind? What if that never happened, and you never had those children?
Yeah, who would they be? Where they would be? Would they be the same people that
would
they are
you be
now?
the same person? Would you have purpose in your life the way that you do now? And that's what I mean about the domino effect. You deciding, making a choice to even look into adoption, pulled and affected 3 children.
Right. What? So then
it hurts your head, doesn't it?
It does hurt my head because, like, it sounds I have a choice to make that free will to be like, this is option A or option B. But if option C happens, then option A and option B are changed, and now I have to go to D and E.
Right. For example, maybe you did make the choice, but they denied you. Maybe someone else deciding you weren't parent material affected your entire life and 3 kids.
So then it would have had to have been option D.
Yeah.
And if D didn't work out, then it would have been option E. So yeah, well, because we did look into surrogacy, and then the cost of surrogacy is ridiculous.
Mad expensive.
Absolutely mad expensive.
Because not only are you paying for her medical bills, but you're also paying for everything else she needs for the next 9 months.
Yeah, which is
10
fine,
months, really.
But the fee in itself to get it started. What if we would have had the money to go down that route?
Yeah.
What kind of kid would we have had?
Yeah. And would it have been Chris's or yours?
That's a great question.
Would you have 2, one of each? Or here's another question. So, like, Neil Patrick Harris?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what him and his husband did is they had 2 children and they both gave samples and they never got DNA tests for which one is which. That being said, now that they're older, you can definitely tell which one is which, but you could also do it that way. So that you don't know whose is whose.
You would have known instantly.
Yeah, blonde or brown. Yeah.
Right.
Second the hair came out. But it depends. It also depends because genetics are weird. That's why you get redheads, because your parents, even if your parents weren't redheads, because there was somewhere along the line of a redhead and you just got that gene.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's all a theory of what are we creating reality?
Is reality creating us?
That's a great thing, because think about it. What if we are the ones creating reality? And then there's a bad part of us that's like, I'm going to fuck shit up and I'm going to do it this way. And then I'm going to fuck shit up over here. And your good side is going to be like, oh, I need to put it back together. And then your bad side's like, I'm still fucking shit up.
I definitely think that's where people get like, but then again, you also get people without a conscience at all who they can't tell right from wrong. And they're they don't care about the consequences. They don't even think about them.
There's also like psychopaths, where they also mimic behavior.
Yeah.
Certain behaviors they mimic. So, for instance,
because they have to learn how to. Yeah.
We find certain things funny. They're mimicking what we find funny so they can fit into society.
So they can code switch, essentially. Yeah.
Which is nuts to think that you can actually learn the behavior.
Yeah.
You can learn the behavior.
But I think the domino effect is my favorite. like theory.
But it negates a lot of stuff.
It does, because how can we have free will if every choice you make is based upon everyone else?
So that means that if I did something bad, so say I murdered somebody, that means that I didn't have a choice to murder. I was going to murder that person.
I'd probably use that in court if you were a good enough lawyer. If you had a good enough lawyer.
I'm going to be like, hey,
Your Honor, it wasn't me.
I didn't have a choice. God did it.
But like but there are certain like chains of events that happen the way that they happen because of
that makes
everyone else's choices.
That makes sense.
And that's kind of like the whole thought of sociology, which is the thought of instead of why did they do it, it's what did the world do to them to make them do it.
Is that why we do dimensional shifts and also jump timelines too? Is that possibly why?
I don't know. I think, okay, so there's a possibility, and I think it is a theory somewhere, that every choice you make splits off into different timelines in different dimensions.
Which could that make a carbon copy of yourself?
Yes, in which case it would be a different dimension. So, for example, you deciding to have kids, another part of you could have decided not to have kids, and it could split off, and now you're in this timeline where there's another dimension of you that didn't have kids or didn't get approved to have kids and is off doing whatever.
Which is where the theory comes in that when there was a theory that I heard that when you die, that it is a possibility you jump into that part of your existence.
It is definitely possible that you can, instead of dying, you just go into a different dimension.
Which is like ultimately my theory. So that's where I don't know. I don't want to feel like my life is meaningless because I don't want to believe that when I die, because I have a very big theory. We've said it before on this podcast that I have a fear of death. Death is scary to me because I don't like not knowing.
I feel the existential
I don't like
dread.
knowing what happens after. Like,
but I think knowing would be worse.
I don't want to know how I die and when I die. I just want to know what goes on afterwards.
But at the same time, if you knew and it was bad, how would you live your life?
I'd live it to the fullest. I mean, if it's going to be bad regardless, then
but if you live it to the fullest, you could be you could have the potential of dying sooner than you normally would have or than you should have. Because you were like, fuck it, we ball. And that instigated a sooner death than you would have had if you hadn't known. You know?
It's just a weird
it
thing.
fucks with you.
It's just like what we talked about that one day.
Mm-hmm.
When we were out on your back porch. I know you got to get going soon, but what we talked about on your back porch of me and you, I lived in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
You lived in California.
Yeah.
Your dad made the choice to come over here.
Mm-hmm.
I made the choice to come over here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually,
and then where would be now if we never came?
If I never came over here.
But here's the thing. So my dad, the only reason he chose here in Kentucky was because my uncle Jeremy. Hey Jeremy. Yeah, I'm name dropping. But was because my uncle Jeremy a couple years earlier moved up here. Mm-hmm. And was like, hey, bud, come on down. So if Jeremy never moved up here,
you would probably still be in California.
Yeah. And the only reason Jeremy moved up here was because his mom moved up here.
Or you might not be. You could have moved up here for a different reason.
I don't think it would have been Kentucky. I think that it's possible it would have been Ohio because we actually have family in Ohio.
Do you think you and I would have met then?
It's possible, but my family in Ohio is like
farther in Ohio.
Yeah. It's definitely possible that we still would have ended up migrating to the same spot in Kentucky, but that again negates free will.
Right.
Because if we were going to end up here the entire time anyways, which is what fate is.
Right. Do you believe in fate? Do you believe that there's a possibility of the fate? Like, because that's such a weird concept to me because like you said, I could have never moved over here. I could have never dated the person that caused me to move.
But it makes sense that you moved here because your grandma lives here, because your parents live here. I think it makes more sense to move somewhere when you have family there and roots there.
Well, my mom lives in Ohio. The only reason why I moved over here is because I dated a guy that refused to cross the bridge.
Oh.
So then I moved to Kentucky and I lived in Kentucky. And then I moved in with my grandma because my dad is allergic to cats. And me and my ex had a cat together and I wanted my cat. And that was the only thing I wanted from the relationship was my cat. My grandma was, I will bring the cat in. You can move in with me.
Yeah.
So then I moved and I stayed in Kentucky because my grandma lived in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then I lived in that apartment for a good long time until I met Chris. And then I moved out of the apartment. Because if I would have never met Chris, I'd probably still be living in that apartment.
Yeah.
Like, I probably would have moved out. Eventually, I would have paid rent, but it
But
would have been cheap rent.
all of the circumstances had to line up just for you to even meet Chris.
The only reason why I got the job at security is because I had a friend who worked in security who
Mhm.
then told me the job, and then I got the job there, which is the only way that I met you. Which, if you wouldn't have talked to me, I probably would have never said a word to you.
It was my decision to talk to you
Yeah.
that led to this entire friendship. But if
Yeah.
I had decided then and there, now I don't want to talk to Tyler.
We would have probably never been friends.
Exactly.
It is like, it's a whole thing because then, but that is in choices, which means that like fate, the domino effect, is kind of intertwined. Like everything is
agree.
kind of intertwined.
I
So
agree.
like fate, intertwined, domino, free will.
Well, because free will and choices are essentially the same thing.
Which are, because ultimately,
You
like,
have the free will to make whatever choice you want.
right,
So if I chose to talk to you, then that's free will.
right. Which is where, but then it's the domino effect because
You never would have
I
been
would have
there.
never been there.
So is it fate or is it free will?
Right. Which one is it? Well, which it could be a mixture of everything. Because think about it. I don't believe that in heaven or hell. This is how I believe in certain things. I also believe that like the punishment of the world is what's brought on by the choices that you make here on this plane. So if there is an afterlife, I don't believe you get punished in an afterlife.
Yeah.
I believe that essentially certain things could catch up to you and cause you to either die in a horrific way. So it may not be you get punished.
So karma?
Yeah, kind of like karma, I guess. Because it may not be that you may never suffer certain consequences to your actions lawfully. Because you may never get caught if you murdered somebody. But maybe you die in a horrific way where you fall or you die alone or you.
And to that, I would agree. For the same could be said for people who live great lives. They could die in a horrific way.
And they could. Negates everything I just said.
This is why philosophy sucks.
Right. Because there's so many, but then there's so many string theories. Says that's why I'm saying I don't believe you get punished because everybody has a dark side. Everybody has a good side.
Yeah, but some are darker than others.
Some are darker than others, but
But
everybody has a good side. That
did
could
it
have
become
taken over.
dark because of society?
Mhm.
With if they didn't get abused in their childhood home, if they didn't meet certain people, if they didn't go
because
down these paths.
Some people that have horrific things happen to them turn out to be great people and never
True.
let it bother them. Some people that have had
It's-
horrific things happen to them turn out to be the shittiest people on the planet.
But
So-
you could also be raised perfectly right and still be a shitty person.
Be a shitty person.
There's
That's
no
why I'm saying, because we don't have in our brains as we developed, maybe it's something that came over us as we were growing up that caused us to kind of
I definitely
flip a
think that the
switch.
earlier stages in development are vital. That being said, sometimes, like for example, the people who don't have a conscience,
Mhm.
not all of them grow up to murder people.
Right.
Not all of them grow up to be serial killers. Not all of them do this or that.
They just turn out to be some
soulless person.
soulless person.
I don't think you're soulless.
No, I
but
don't. No, I
am a little confused as to how you operate.
I am. But there's also people that don't have the inner monologue, the inner
exactly
thoughts.
the conscience.
I guess
Yeah.
that is the conscience. Because like my brain, I will sit there and I'll like wire.
Yeah, I'll overthink that shit.
But there are some people that just don't have that.
Yeah.
They're just the thought comes to their head and they're doing the action.
Food
Which-
for thought.
Yeah, food for thought. Oh my
Um,
god, this has become a really weird
Yeah.
episode, but I kind of like it.
I really liked the yeah.
I
really
really
did.
liked where we led. I don't know. I feel great about it.
I had
okay?
a great time.
I did.
Let me know what you guys think,
Yeah.
and if you have any thoughts about our theories and what we were talking about today.
And Alyssa kind of negated a lot of my theories.
I'm so sorry.
No, I love it because I do love
It's a debate.
I love the thought process
Mhm.
behind it. I do. And I love because sometimes I get all these thoughts in my head and I want to talk to somebody about it. I'm thinking, oh yeah, this sounds great. And then when somebody else hears it, they're like, can we rethink that? Like,
yeah,
can
but
we
what
like
about this
actually,
thing?
actually, let's look at it this way too. Your theory sounds interesting. Let's look at it this way. They could combine together. Who knows? Who knows?
I really do wish I did know.
Me too.
I really, but at the same time, if I did know, it'd probably change everything that I'm ever gonna do. So who knows?
Oh.
And
Yeah.
thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you. And again, welcome to the new followers that we have. I know this topic became different, but that's how we work. That's how it happens, which is why we're so wonderful together.
Mhm.
Our podcast is just random. Who cares? Anyway, make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I like that a lot.